Would you like to or have had your college paid for by scholarships? Physical education in high school helps students psychologically, socially, physically. More students are playing sports because they're more likely to get help getting into college. Sports can help you in a lot of ways. There's a lot of pros for it. To start off with, a student will feel more comfortable if, say, they have their teacher or their coach. They'll be more likely to approach that teacher for help, as in the teacher that I interviewed, Megan Hughes. She has students that she coaches too. And from her standpoint, she feels that her students are more likely to approach her, they're more likely to come to her for help. She feels more likely that they'll come to her than their actual guidance counselor. Plus, when they're more likely to approach her, they're more likely to ask for help, then they'll have better grades. When they're more comfortable with a teacher, then they become more grade conscious. Then it all boils back down to their grades, their teachers. They really like their teachers then. When students are becoming so unhealthy right now, they've been trying to do everything with taking soft drinks out of school, trying to quit frying foods. When students start being more physically active, then they're more comfortable with their peers, more comfortable with their teachers. They're more physically active because they're more likely to socialize, even if it's just walking around the track and talking. If it's just throwing a ball at softball practice or baseball practice, they're more active. It may not be as physically active as they could be, but they're still getting exercise somewhere. And it's more of a choice if you do a sport versus forced to take physical education. Students, on the comfort side of sports, you're more comfortable with your peers, you're more comfortable with your teachers, you're more comfortable to come with help. When students are more comfortable with their peers, there's less bullying in schools, there's less depression in students because of not having friends. But when you're forced to actually stay with a group of kids, you're more comfortable with them. You develop more friendships out of that. There's suicide rates that come with it that are better than this. For example, on the female side of things, with the female sports statistics, female athletes are 80% less likely to get pregnant. Female high school athletes are 3 more times to graduate than non-athletics. They're 92% less likely to be involved with drugs. More benefits that come with it are high school students are more likely to attend college. They're more likely to attend college because they can have their college paid for with scholarships. Plus, when they have more close relationships with their teachers and things, you're going to get better recommendation letters. Better recommendation letters means more likely to get scholarships. I know I got a few scholarships because of good recommendation letters. Plus, they're more likely to have better grades and more on standardized tests because they want to stay in those sports and keep all those social activities that they have outside of school. They're going to do better in their tests to keep their grades up. They're also going to have greater family attachment and frequent interactions with their parents because they're going to want to stay on their parents' good side because you can't play a sport unless your parents are paying for all those fees for you to play. How are you going to do something without money to back it up with? A lot of sports are really expensive between uniforms and fees and bus rides and food after school and all of those things. They're more likely to avoid risky behavior because you're not going to be out running around town doing who knows what. You're going to be at school specific hours with somebody under supervision. You're going to know, your parents are going to know, or at least have an idea of where you're at. Plus, students are more likely to do volunteer work because they have more close relationships with their teachers, their faculty members, because of being with them outside of school. They're more likely to volunteer, help other students after school, help other students more likely to get more physically active, like say helping a student that's not hitting well for baseball, something like that. Benefits also continued, of course, higher grades, expectations. You're going to have better self-esteem, and confidence because you know you're doing a sport. The more you practice, the better you're going to be. You're going to have good feedback from your other teammates. You're going to have good feedback from your teachers. Teachers are going to have good feedback because of your grades. It's just good all around. Michigan State University says that group interaction helps students become less likely to be depressed, have better grades, all of those things. I think that students should be required to at least try a sport for a semester. Because of all of these things, you're going to be more likely to have friends. You're going to be more likely to try a sport, and it'll be better for you. The students are less likely to become depressed. They're more likely to communicate their feelings with adults. This is all I've said, but specifically, all this information comes from Athletic Media Company. With college, you're going to develop strong peer relationships. College comes scholarships. Scholarships comes recommendation letters. Faculty members, more help with those. To summarize all of this, I think that we should have all of the students try a sport. I know I wish I would have at least tried a sport. I'm not physically active whatsoever. Cannot throw a ball without falling. But I feel I would be more likely to be more socially active, be especially less so uncomfortable giving speeches if I'm more likely to communicate with more people other than classmates that I'm forced to communicate with. But I can't go back on that now. Although we can still push for all of the other students to try it, and everybody will be more likely to be healthy. Maybe we could actually put back more on the other student things. We should try sports in school again.